BPC 157, they're using a semi-glutide of that in like Ozempic and all those weight loss transformation things. Because BPC 157, the FDA is saying is only good for animal use, just like ivermectin was only good for animal use. You know what I mean? So, but the FDA hasn't approved it because there's no money in it. No pharmaceutical company is going to pay the money to go through all these studies to see all the benefits of BPC 157. But bodybuilders have been using them, injecting them in themselves daily for recovery. And the recovery on it grows back the tissues. It was made for gastric patients, people with gastritis and stuff like that. It was made from the acids of the gastric juices. So it works on your
peptide.
It works on your gut first. And then but they found out that the healing properties of it grows back all like soft tissue and even bones. There's been documentation of guys that have, broken bones and healed 3 times faster, 5 times faster with the BPC versus just normal healing and going through physical therapy.
How come he always knows all this stuff though?
I don't know.
This is like black market information. I swear he always knows the undercover black market information about everything we're not supposed to know about.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything they're keeping from us, he somehow finds out about it.
He researches everything. I swear.
Well, I heard about it a long time ago, when everyone was taking like clenbuterol, different steroids, you know what I mean? Dianabol, you know what I mean? It's been around forever. But it was always kind of like that. Stay away from it. It's a steroid. It's a branched chain amino acid. It's just a peptide, and it's nothing harmful for you. People take it every day for recovery. I've been taking it for 5 months now, a little over 5 months, and I had you know how my shoulder was. I couldn't hold mitts. I couldn't lift right. I couldn't even do bench press, push-ups, nothing. I used to work out all the time, and I wasn't able to do that. For like 4.5 years, I was stagnant as far as mobility with my right shoulder. And 5 months on it, I'm military pressing. I'm actually growing to get my size back. The muscle growth. I'm doing push-ups, dips, everything, holding mitts. It's absolutely amazing.
5 months on it though feels like a long time. It's like your daily vitamin at that point.
But I take it twice a day. But
really? Twice a day?
Twice a day.
See, I've stopped because I felt paranoid. I was going in my research before I got it and was listening to Andrew Huberman because there's not a lot of like verified studies, but there is obviously a lot of studies in terms of just it's so popular and nobody's having adverse effects that we know of, I guess. But there was one thing that was like, if you have like some sort of like growth or maybe the capillaries in your eyes, since it's producing blood flow, something could happen theoretically. And so for me, I was like, that spooked me out. So I'm like, I'm just going to take this until I get a
don't do too much cardio because your blood flow might be too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cardio is deadly for you.
You're right. Okay. I can see where that argument
Stay out of the gym.
Yeah. You're going to increase your blood flow. Bad things might happen. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm just paranoid because there's not a lot of, it's like kind of underground still.
Yeah.
So then it freaks me out. I'm like, because I was taking it a lot. I got to the point where I was taking it twice a day, even though it says to take it once a day. But you're doing twice a day already.
You can take it morning and night.
Yeah, but the bottle doesn't say that.
The bottle
I think the bottle does say to take it twice.
Go grab the bottle.
Okay, hold on. You gotta fact check this.
Fact check.
How many bottles are you going through? 5 months? Twice a day? That's gotta be flying through your stack. All right. Okay. Here we go. Kendra's either going to be proud or disappointed in you. Take 1 capsule twice daily.
Read the label.
Yeah, you're right. I should probably start reading more. Okay, guys. Recent events, aside from BPC 157, which thank you for the recommendation because I totally healed. I got to go do. I was worried. I had shoots coming up.
I know.
For Generation Iron.
You were freaking scared, dude.
I was a bit scared. I was going to do it no matter what.
How was that, by the way?
The Olympia?
Yeah.
That was sick. It was crazy. I keep realizing I was working with like super famous people because when I'm there and I don't really know them, I'm like, Who's this guy?
Yeah.
But then afterwards, as the Olympia media has been posting out, I'm like, oh, that guy? Oh my God, that guy's got 2 million followers. I didn't even know.
I shook that guy's hand. I took video with
that's
him.
literally what it's like. Because I'm just, it's kind of a blessing, I think, for me to be not that big of a fan of bodybuilding, going in, shooting their stories, because then I'm not like fanboying and stuff. I'm actually trying to get the story from the perspective of someone who really needs the full groundwork of a story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it benefits me. Plus, I think those people, especially at the Olympia, they're so bombarded with fans. They're so bombarded. And so it's a breath of fresh air for them too, to be like, this guy doesn't even know who I am.
Or they might get mad and go, what the fuck? Motherfucker, you don't know who I am?
Yeah, exactly. Not respected.
You don't want me to sign your back?
Yeah. And that, I mean, I feel like, at least, especially being around big guys like that, I try to just treat everybody the same. So because when people start being dicks, dude, I don't even want to be associated with them. I don't care like how much leverage or something, like the idea of, they got power. Because I've just been around that so much where people, I feel like, are just like sucking up to people because they're known. Yeah. And so they just want to be around them because they're known. But I've at this point where I realize, like, they're not going to, I think the philosophy is that maybe somehow either A, they're going to be friends and now you're friends with someone who's like famous or something, or B, they're going to be a resource for you where you're going to like get something from them.
What's funny is we just had some guys fight in the cage at Front Street. What was it? About 2 months ago? Month ago? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're there, and Max Holloway, you know who Max Holloway is?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I don't know who the fuck Max Holloway is.
Really?
He doesn't fucking box. I don't give a fuck about that
He's
guy.
the greatest boxer in the UFC. That's like what he was like yelling at his last match.
So we're at the fights, and I'm wrapping hands, and Max Holloway's striking coach was there. Well, I guess he's famous too, and I don't know who the fuck he is. You know what I mean? But George was fanboying. Oh, yeah. He's like, "Oh my God, you didn't tell me he was going to be here." I said, "Who?" So that's Max Holloway's striking coach. I don't give a fuck who that is.
George, all fanboy.
And I'm like, okay, well, he's just a guy, and you know what I mean? And I asked him if he knew some people, we talked. He's a cool guy. Yeah. But, okay, I'm a striking coach too. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I'm not going to fanboy you. You know what I mean? That shit don't impress me, but it's just the whole different mentality of that. You know what I mean? And even when we go to like boxing events or we see somebody famous, I'm like, if they're not old school, like Hagler, Hearns, you know what I mean, stuff like that, Mike Tyson. I mean, fuck yeah, I know those guys. But all the new guys, what the fuck is that?
And I think it's also something about those people are like pretty recognized because they just specialized at what they did so well. I was in this Hall of Fame ceremony while I was at the Olympia, and there was Misha Tate. That Bruce Buffer, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame there, and Phil Heath, just a bunch of. There's a guy like Shaw. He's a huge, giant, like strongman guy. I don't know if that rings a bell. Anyways, just a bunch of Hall of Fame people getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. And as I sat there and listened to them, and I was just being around them, I was thinking, they're literally, people want to take pictures with these people just because they decided to focus on something pretty much their whole life. They like, these people decided to focus on this thing and got so good at it, and they just kept devoting their life to doing reps in this, that they got so good to the point where people are like, can I get a picture with you? You're that person who's so good at that thing. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're just getting good at something and people love you for being good at something. Yeah. It's pretty wild. And then I think that, so the thing about not fanboying so much, of course, there's people that we're going to fanboy over if they're like childhood, some just remarkable, giant, famous person that we just grew up seeing. Maybe it would be surreal. But I think it's because we're also people that are trying to be good at our thing. So it's like, we see them, they're passionate, they're hardworking people, but we're those people too. We're trying to we're focused on our thing. So there's not much room for fan girling.
If you're concentrating on your stuff, you don't have time to look at anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And people always freak out like, you haven't watched this movie? You haven't watched this movie? I'm like, I know I'm a film guy, but I'm busy making films, not watching films. Although I should probably research purposes. Yeah. That's whenever I'm on Netflix and chilling with my wife. It's research. We're doing this for research. Yeah, but what's new with you guys? What's you guys have been all over the place. You were just at some big meetup in Rupert or something. You guys were doing something over there.
Oh, we were
sparring.
Yeah.
Sparring session.
Yeah, sparring.
Yeah, you got a black eye.
Yeah.
She's trying to hide it from you guys, but she got beat up pretty good.
That was from last night, though.
Yeah, that wasn't from sparring over.
That was from.
Oh, that was just out at the bar.
Yeah. No, that was from a guy Jason trained for a really long time. He's actually so good, but he trained him since he was like 8 years old.
11.
Yeah. So before I even started boxing, he went with Jason all the way to the under 19s, took a bronze medal there, right? Bronze. Yeah. So he's super good. But now he comes to the gym and spars with me. And so it just gives me good work. So yeah, I got a little bit of a shiner last night. So
he's worthy of giving you a black eye.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. I feel like you do a lot of work with men.
Yeah.
You're all training with men all the time, sparring with men all the time. Do you feel like that boosts you? Does that help you out?
It does. I mean, like some people, they will like hold back, and some guys will. Like it's hard for them to
Oh no.
Yeah.
Also trying to get in on the podcast. Yeah. He wants the headphones.
But some people, it's hard for them like to like put in their, I don't want to say their full effort, but like some effort, and they'll just like hold back and just let me do whatever. But a lot of people, like once I hit them, then they're like, okay, screw you, lady. So I do get really good work with the guys. So it does help me a lot. And especially like Jerry gives me really good work. So I really like working rounds with him. So, but yeah, mostly guys.
I feel like that's like the dance. That's like the dance of sparring in boxing. It starts out as like, we just want to be, let's go easy. Let's just practice. And then someone gets a good hit. I got to get my good hit. Yeah. And then, well, it's not landing. I better pick it up. And then, oh, he hit me with something fast. I better hit something fast. And then next thing you know, you're just going at it.
It's so funny. I always say, I know I landed a good body shot if they try to land a body shot after that. I always say that all the time, and that's exactly the same thing.
Aren't body shots just so satisfying, though?
Yeah.
Body shots in particular. I was telling Isaiah this because I feel like body shots in particular, you really got to set up.
Yeah.
Because there's a vulnerability of you have to drop your arm down and be ready to be, you could eat straight or something while you're hitting low.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, you guys know.
You have to be like, your placement has to be correct.
And you kind of almost like juke them out so that they think you're going to go up so you can just smack the body. And then it's like that extra satisfying chest move. You're like, gotcha. And you can unload a body shot and not have any like after practice. You don't have to go get a concussion check.
Yeah.
You just like, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
But so you can just wail it in there and let them know that it hurts and it feels better because you're like, yeah, they're feeling that one.
Yeah. That is something that I've been working on so much, like just recent too. And I actually landed a body shot on Jerry and I was so proud of myself. I was like so excited.
Are you just always aiming for the left side too? Just for the liver?
Okay. So I don't know. Should I tell him?
What?
So, I mean, I couldn't figure out where the liver was for the longest time.
What do you...
I don't know. So I have a really hard time deciphering my left and my right. Like I know it. I know it.
Okay.
If I think about it, like Jason will say like turn left and I'm like, okay, turn left. But I have to really think about it. So yeah, exactly. So when I'm boxing, I switch a lot too. So it gets really confusing like when they're in front of me, like which side the liver's on. So I really have never known. And finally,
now she knows it's the tattoo.
Yeah. So finally, one of my other sparring partners, Badad, he's like, Kendra, if you ever throw a hook with the arm that has a tattoo on it, it's going to land in the liver. It doesn't matter what stance they're in front of you. It doesn't matter what stance you're in. And once he said that, I was like, I got it. And then now as soon as, and as soon as he said that, like now that's been my whole focus. Every time I spar, I just want to throw the liver shot every time.
Oh my gosh. That literally the fact that you're like looking for, should I tell him? Looking over at it like, what the hell? So the tattoo side. Yeah, the tattoo. See, that's what I was saying. Because I never feel that incentivized to throw the right to the body as much. Because I'm like, if I'm going to throw a body, let's just hit the liver.
Yeah. This whole time, I had no idea.
Yeah, well.
She used to yell at me, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you fucking kidding me? Hold your left hand up.
Got to draw now. Oh my god. Well, so we were just talking about how those guys, you can feel like they kind of go easy at first until you land on them good. Is that? See, this is a fine line to walk because you wouldn't really, especially you being so competitive, want people to ease up. You want because you're trying to get work in, but you also have to walk the fine line of you don't want to accidentally have someone stupid who injures an athlete for no reason without a competition or nothing, because they're too uncontrolled.
Yeah, so I only spar like specific guys. So like Jason will not have me spar anybody that's new. I feel like when you're new, like you flare a lot without knowing, like you don't mean to.
What do you mean by flare?
So like just in defensive, like you just like if I'm coming at you or if you're getting hit a lot, you kind of just like flare your arms. And that, if you get hit with shots like that, it just kind of like rips your head to the side. So I won't.
There's no control of power.
Yeah. So I won't.
I mean?
I won't spar anybody that is new. There's just only like a select few people like that I will spar, and then as far as the guys go, and if they're not there, then I unfortunately won't spar. So
isn't that kind of a funny thing to think? Like I would imagine the outside perspective would be, I mean, you're the elite athlete, so you would assume like anybody that's an elite athlete, whether a UFC fighter or anything, like if they shouldn't be scared of anybody in sparring. But at the same time, you hear all the time that they're cautious about who they train with, because someone who's an elite fighter could still get hurt from just someone who is a bad, like a beginner fighter, just from the chaos aspect of it.
Well, you see it a lot now in social media. You see all these guys, they'll, the top guys, Caleb Plant, Canelo, they'll call guys to camp that they know will work with them. They'll give them good work, but they're getting paid a good amount of money now. And okay, you don't want your A side hurt as far as you go. You know what I mean? But some of those guys, I mean, you're seeing videos now of guys, I dropped, so-and-so in sparring here. You know what I mean? You wanted to be an idiot to me here. Here's proof that I did drop you and blah, blah, blah.
Did you ever grow up in the philosophy that you just don't share you ever heard of like don't share sparring footage? That was like an era, I feel like, where it was rude to share sparring footage.
I won't have there's no video when we're sparring anymore unless I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Because we've had kids, and you don't really want stuff out there. I don't know. They use it kind of against each other. Like, look what I did. You know what I mean?
It's like to boost your own ego.
Yeah.
But to boost your own ego, there has to be someone who's getting smacked.
When I'll post something, I'll post, okay, here was your good shot, here was that good shot. We got good sparring, boom, that's it. Versus, okay, I mean, there was a thing on social media, last week, I think, and these guys, they started a site. They're all right. I mean, but they're making it a point of like disrespecting other boxers. You know what I mean? Like they have their favorites that they post, then they'll post these guys, like one guy made this other guy cry. You know what I mean? Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? No, that's not fucking cool. You know what I mean? You just, demoralize that boxer in the first place. You know what I mean? And he was in there with somebody that he probably shouldn't have been in there with in the first place, but his coach put him in there. So now you want to post it. Look at, I'm a monster. I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Okay, bro. But when somebody else does that to you, you're a cheap shot, piece of shit, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the mentality of a lot of these social media warriors. You know what I mean? Some of them are good boxers. You know what I mean? But to do that, to disrespect the sport like that and disrespect your, opponents, whether they're coming into your backyard or you're going into theirs, sparring. Sparring is supposed to be able to get better. You're imitating the competition to the point of you're not going 110%. You know what I mean? If you're doing that to hurt somebody, then how are you going to get sparring next time?
Yeah.
Unless you're a world champion, there's always someone better than you. It's literally, so if you're posting, you're being someone
even
else.
The world champion, even the world champions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just depends on the day too. Yeah, for them, it could be a close one, could switch it up, but. There's like if you're not competing, if you are competing, you can see kind of where you stand, and if you're showing off, there's someone on the chart who's going to make it hard for you to show off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's funny to me a little bit, that people who share their like them looking cool in boxing. That's very popular on social media now. You know, like you just see it everywhere as people, just kids, because boxing is inherently just so entertaining. Even if they suck, if they don't. I was just shooting street beefs. You see me? I went to Washington. I was shooting street beefs, and there was people who had some training, but most of them just no training, chaos. But it's popping. That's a popping like YouTube channel and stuff. They got like millions of followers because people just want to see people brawl. It's so primitive. Yeah. But the thing about posting about you looking good in training, it's like, so, I mean, just someone else can just come show you up. So it feels like I'm just thinking of it as, because I'm one who posts whenever I'm an intermediate person who's deep, like half ass at a lot of things, like piano. Yeah. You know, so, but I'm no world class pianist or even a person that goes and plays piano for people. I'm a shitty piano player compared to actual piano players. And the same with boxing. That's how I feel. Like, I love boxing. I come and train. I love to spar. That stuff's so fun to me. But I'm not a competitive boxer by any means. And so for me, I feel weird like putting a video of me beating another guy's ass because that's not even what I did. There's a guy who could be posting a video of him beating my ass. Yeah. Exactly. So then it's just, I feel, for me, it just feels like you're almost just making somebody look bad. So you can feel kind of cool.
It's that giant ego. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's always someone better than you. Or that's working harder that day. And boxing is one punch. One punch changes everything. You know what I mean? One punch. It doesn't take, 8 rounds to fucking change something. It's one punch.
And you come from such a wholesome viewpoint, both of you. You guys are always wanting it to be very positive experience in boxing. You want people to, like you were saying, someone who you shouldn't have been in the ring with. Like, you want it to be fair, and you want it to be kind of positive sportsmanship going on when you guys are boxing people and bringing people into the boxing gym, which is pretty interesting because it's a violent sport. It's a sport of violence, and you want to make that person go unconscious. That's like the most violent. That's super violent. The only thing you go after that is death. You want to put them in the hospital or death, which could occur in boxing too. It has in the past. But you guys are family boxing. It's all you guys keep this core belief about like being family and taking care of each other and being a family. Yeah. How do you balance violence with camaraderie?
It's controlled. Yeah. Controlled violence.
Peaceful warrior.
Peaceful warrior, but you're still just whooping up.
I feel like at the right time. Like sparring, no. Like I feel like, it has its place. Like, and competition, that's different. Like, competition is different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's different types of boxing.
Yeah.
Because there's the kid and the family who just kind of want to get a workout in, learn a little bit of fundamentals, maybe for street purposes. And then there's the one who wants to be the best boxer in the world.
Yeah. Competition is just different. So I feel like then that mentality is switching. You know what I mean? Yeah. You switch that mentality during competition. And just once you step in,
then it gets a lot more violent, a lot more ruthless mindset.
Yeah,
the family part goes out the window. Now you're taken from my family.
You could be friends afterwards. Yeah.
Once it's over. Yeah, the perception of boxing has changed so much over the decades, and I think if social media has a big role in that, because when you think about old school boxing, for me, when I was a kid, I didn't watch boxing or anything, but I think everybody knew of Mike Tyson, and who doesn't? And then when you think Mike Tyson, you think of boxing, it's like kind of synonymous, and you think of just ruthless, just destruction. You know what I mean? But now I feel like we have a different understanding of boxing. For example, Ryan Garcia, he was like kind of a social media guy before he went pro, right?
No, he boxed as an amateur.
He's still amateur?
No, he boxed as an amateur. But he had 100 and something fights as an
Didn't
amateur.
He go pro?
Yeah, he's pro.
He's pro, but he had he went pro, but he was really big before amateur because of social media.
Yeah, he was really big on social media,
Yeah, and then I feel like the people who never even watched boxing are like actually watching boxing now because there's just hype that you build on social media everywhere. Like the Canelo fights are getting built up. Who's the big hypes right now? Is there? I feel like there's a lull right now.
The Beeble Better Biev one was pretty good.
Oh, was it?
The social media.
Yeah.
hype.
Oh man, do you think
just because they're both so polite. You know what I mean? They're ultimate warriors. You know what I mean? But they're gentle to an aspect. You know what I mean? They know it's that controlled violence thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm cool to you right here.
Yeah, the whole time he's like, "We will see tomorrow." That's all he would say.
One thing that I think is taking audiences away a little bit from boxing is MMA. UFC. UFC has become such a huge promotion. I feel like people are having to battle between whether to watch the boxing matches, spend money on the pay-per-view for the boxing, or the pay-per-view for the MMA fight.
I think what got people's like interest going the other way was these guys want so much money for boxing. You know what I mean? Like Canelo, 55 million on a fight, you know what I mean? Or, you know, something crazy like that. And everyone wants that $1 million payout, you know, but the UFC, these guys are getting paid 50 grand. PFL, you know, 50 grand for a fight, and it's, you know, it's televised. You have a huge audience. But they guys weren't fighting. That's the best.
Yeah,
you know
I was going to
mean?
say, I feel like that's the biggest thing,
you know,
too.
Canelo, you know, he deserves what he got. He has, you know, everything. He's done so much, but you could see where he cherry picked some fights, and he stayed away from some guys just because I might lose. Well, you've already lost twice, so that 50-0 that Mayweather started, you know what I mean? Everyone thinks that you have to have that O on the other side to be a great boxer. There's all kinds of guys with 1 or 2 losses that got, you know, they got fed to a shark, you know, right off the bat, and now they're, you know, 17-1, 18-1, 20-1, you know what I mean? That are good boxers, but they have that loss on their record. You know what I mean? UFC, you could have 5 fights total, and 4 of those be a loss, and you can be the next champion just because.
Well, and they put on the big fights. Like UFC, that's one thing that they do is like it's not like the promoters battling each other. They're trying to protect their fighters. Like, I don't want my guy to lose, so I'm not going to fight the champion. We're just going to avoid you forever and ever and ever. And so that's one of the biggest things is that like UFC, like the best is fighting the best all the time. And like we did just hear this thing, a new promoter is really doing that, and it's getting like
the Saudis are getting into
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the ones
And-
that put Ngannou with the
Yeah.
Is
So
it-
they're putting on the big fight. So like Tyson Fury and Usyk, they put that fight on. You know, like, and they're putting on like huge fights. And so I think that's going to draw it to be more popular again too as well.
Dana White's now
He's
working
involved with
them.
it too.
So it's a crossover thing, which, you know, I mean, I would like to see anybody that puts their life on the line, like boxers or any combat sports, get paid what they should be paid. You know what I mean? But when you get up in the upwards of the amounts of, you know, 40 million, 50 million, you know, split, or that's one fight, you know what I mean? And you do that, you know, once every year, twice a year. But you got these other kids banging each other up, you know, at these small promotions, getting paid $400 a round. You know what I mean? And they're having to struggle all the way up and not get anything. And there's a lot of good fighters out there, but they don't have the promotions or the money to put to go towards that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does, but it conflicts my mind in my capitalist mind, I think, about the profitability and the sustainability. Like, do the Saudis just have so much money that they don't care about
so
profit, and they're
much
like,
money.
get whatever money you want.
Like
take
my
it.
grandpa used to say, and you know, he, you know, was in World War II. He's, you know, grew up in the, you know, 20s and 30s. You know, he told me, he used to say that when I was a little kid, and I didn't understand what he was saying. So there would be no princes in Saudi Arabia if America didn't buy their oil. If we didn't buy their oil, they would have no money. We've supplied their money. You know what I mean? They'd still be, you know, riding around on camels or whatever, trying to pump a little bit out, but they wouldn't know what to do with it.
We'd be riding horses.
Yeah, we'd be riding horses. But, you know, we made them the billionaires that they are, you know, and
Well, they provided a valuable good.
Exactly.
So they deserved it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they, you know what I mean? There would be nothing there if people didn't buy all that.
Well, that's a redundant statement to me, because it's like saying like Elon Musk wouldn't have any money if they didn't buy Teslas. It's like, well, obviously,
Well, they're burning up. They're burning up anyway.
You got to the Tesla. So you don't like electric cars, huh?
I didn't know you had to pay to charge them. What's the point of an electric car if you have to pay to charge it? I thought you could charge it for free. So I was like, oh, that would be cool. You don't have to pay for gas anymore. But if you have to pay to charge it, I'm like,
that diesel engine's got to run the electric port.
Yeah, why would you even buy it? Like, you're not saving any money.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me. It's so silly.
Well, it's a better engine though. It's the car itself is freaking awesome. I was just in Michigan with this guy, and we were riding around in his new Tesla Sport that he got, and he kept flooring it. He just floored it. We'd get a red light, he just boom, put it on the ground, and we'd be going like 130 miles an hour. Just I literally tried to hold my camera. Like, hold on, I want to get a shot of this. Like, let me just hold my camera with all my strength right here, ready, floor it. And I would get sucked. I could not hold my camera. I actually hurt my wrist doing that. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. That force is insane. And it's just so quiet. And I read on that flight, it inspired me to learn a little bit more about engines, because I realized, you know, the oil and gas battle that's always in people's minds, like, you know, gas engines are better, which I rented an electric car in Italy. It was a bad decision. Because they'll got to go to charging stations, wait forever. I just wanted to put some pump, boom, done, let's go. Yeah. And we had to go find a spot. Oh, easy to charge. It's super simple. Just download the app. Okay, now just put all your information. Put your email. Put your home. Put your this. Put your that. Put your passport ID. I'm like, this is easy. What the easy is just here's $5. There's my gas. Go. That's easy. Yeah. So I hated they were trying to act like it's easy. It wasn't easier. But
well, it takes time too, for like 40 minutes.
An hour. It takes time. Yeah.
So you're spending $100 and something. I saw somebody do a thing like a gas versus, charging your electric car. You know, dude spent $80, filled his car up, took 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, long enough to, do his PIN, and then 40 minutes, and it was $100 and something.
But in terms of the engines, because that's how we make energy, is with engines that combust off of fossil fuels. And it causes an explosion, makes a piston move, which makes a thing swirl, which eventually, after lots of mechanisms, gets a little disc to spin that we can put a little axle on, and now it's a useful momentum where we can put tires on it and make it spin. Yeah. But we need an explosion to make a piston to start pumping, pump, 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 pump. And electric cars, they bypass all those mechanics. They just grab the axle. You push electricity, boom, it turns instantly. There's no all this crudeness that.
Did you ever put together an RC car?
I mean, like an RC car? I mean,
remote control car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean by put together. I wasn't like going under the hood fast and furious. No, my RC car is
battery operated. We used to race those in California. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, we used to build them and wind our own electric motors.
Yeah,
and they're fast, but they dump. The battery's dumped, and then I got to put another one in.
Yeah,
and then we had
storage of electricity. Issue.
We had gas ones that you just put a little bit of gas in, and that thing would run on, for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, that is easier, but you're gonna have to dig up lithium mines for the battery either way. The same way you have to go for fossil fuels.
No, they just manipulate the weather, like in North Carolina, and demolish towns. You'll be all right.
Electricity in general for an engine seems so much more efficient. After that Michigan trip, it inspired me to learn a little bit more about engines, because I was like, this isn't just a car thing. This is how we power our world kind of thing. This is how we get any type of power. So I want to understand engines a little better, because I'm not a car guy, but I would like to understand how the power of our world works. And so the first book I dove into was Nikola Tesla's On Electricity book. And oh my God, he's opened my eyes a lot about the amazingness of electricity, how it literally could be so amazing if we implement it. Imagine, our grid isn't built for it, so we can't just switch to an electric grid. And also having electricity is difficult right now because
he tried it in Colorado, and they made him destroy it.
What? Is Tesla pylons?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm imagining in a world that's not 1900s like Tesla. Now we're in the new centuries, and we have different types of power generation, like nuclear fusion or fission, whichever one we're on. And I think it's fission we're doing. Fusion is sun powered, the level of fusion like the sun does. But if we actually imagine we had like an actual sustainable, clean nuclear power plant in like every state that could put a ton of energy, and we have superchargers for every single person's Tesla, and we all have smart cars. And I know where your mind's going to go. The government's going to hack our cars, and the government's going to rule us like sheep. But if they didn't...
It's already here, look. It's already here.
But they can shut your car down. They can decide what you're doing, because now you have an electric car. But think about the car crashes. I mean, I've had friends die in car crashes. I'm sure it's not uncommon. Yeah. People crashing and dying all the time. Imagine you don't worry about that anymore. People don't crash and die. We have safe cars now. We're not putting a bunch of emissions into the ozone as an experiment. I mean, even if it doesn't do something, it seems like a weird experiment to do.
But how long do the batteries last?
See, but that's the thing. Yeah, we have to refine the technology better.
How long do the batteries last?
But no, we don't even want to look at it.
Because look at, I mean, go to Costco and get a packet of batteries, you know, and for your...
Well, there's a new lithium mine in Iowa.
But for your gaming station, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For your PlayStation or your Xbox, how many batteries do you go through? We have rechargeables for the kids, and they're constantly recharging them. You know what I mean? Which is good, but if you just get regular batteries, you're going to go through a 40, 60 pack of those batteries, you know, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's you're
and then you have all that waste, all that, you know, toxic waste. Then what's going to happen to the drinking water?
But you act like there's no
already?
Toxic waste on the gas side.
No.
You want to point out all the ugly side of electricity, but you don't want to look at the ugly of gas?
I'd rather drink gas than eat lithium, I think.
What? Drink gas and eat lithium.
I'm just kidding.
No, I don't know, dude. Electric cars to me just feel like a smarter engine. It feels like a smarter engine. I understand that they're not going to be able to be as quick and efficient right now as it stands with, like, for the modern person who, like us here in Idaho, who got to commute everywhere constantly, and you need a new battery for your thing. But I think I don't know. I think Tesla just inspired he changed my view a lot on realizing, damn, dude, the electricity is awesome. Electricity is so awesome. It's like such a remarkable form of energy, and it bypasses combustion like by a lot. The problem is storage of electricity. Yeah, that's the problem. And generating electricity. But electricity itself, dang, that's better than combustion. Combustion sucks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, those problems we got to overcome. But see, that's the thing. No one seems to be too excited about figuring out, because the people who are for electric cars, they're so dang like liberal, we're saving the earth type of mission on it, that it kind of, I feel like, pollutes the actual vision of what could come from it. And then the people who are against it, I mean, it's just so easy to stick to what we have now because the grid is already built. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not against it. It's okay. I'm going to drive 250 miles and then have to recharge my car, where I could drive almost 600 miles, 700 miles in my truck on a full tank of gas. But okay, I'm looking for an electric charging station. Where the fuck am I going to find it in the middle of Nevada?
Yeah. See the
you know
infrastructure. I mean? Yeah, but if the infrastructure supported, there's a supercharging station at every single town.
But we're not to that point yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So everyone's.
I feel like it would be different if we were at that point.
Yeah. Do you think we could get to that point? Do you think that's a point we should strive to go to?
I don't know. There's so much fighting over it. It's big money, and there's political shit in it, like everything. Yeah. You know, it's whoever has the most money, whoever can pay off the right people.
Yeah.
Okay. Political. You're bringing me to my next topic. Here we go. Let's see the fire come out of Jason now. All right. Ranked choice voting. Proposition 1. You see a sign for it everywhere. We have the closed primary style right now.
Yeah.
Where we kind of battle two candidates against, they choose you have to register, and then you go sign up, and they put up their candidate, and typical voting system we're used to here. Ranked choice. You choose a selection first, second, third, and you rank all your favorite candidates. It's an open primary, so you can choose out of all the candidates. What's your opinion?
Well, after looking into it, because I didn't know what it was.
Oh yeah.
Then I looked into it, and so you have number 1 through 10. Okay, so what I was reading is, okay, this person got all these votes. Okay, so like 1 through 5. 1. So you got those 5 people that didn't get the votes, but they had some votes. So then they pick and see where those votes go out of these 1 through 5, right? Isn't that how that works?
Well, the bottom.
So like
the lowest amount of votes gets washed, and they take their second place and put it.
But they take those votes and they give them to the other candidates.
Yeah, whichever their second place was.
Yeah, whatever their second place was. So then this number 5 person that's Joe Schmo, and you don't like him, you don't even know who the fuck he is. Well, that's who they picked for his second. So he went from 5 to 1 now. Okay, so now that number 1 candidate dropped down. So then those other votes, so then they do the voting again, and then the same thing. So this number 5, he can win, or you get number 2 or 3, or it's jumbled. So you don't know who the best candidate actually was as far as, what your platform was.
Well, wouldn't you say that number 5 would be the best representation of everyone's general favorite?
But he was number 2.
Not the just radical favorite of the person. Because let's say like left and right. Let's put it into easy context. RFK Jr., Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. You rank them 1 through 3. It will say you wanted Trump, RFK, then Harris. You wanted RFK, Trump, and then Harris. And I wanted Harris, RFK, Trump. And so we have Trump, RFK, Harris. We all have all our first place choices have 1 vote. And so then the lowest votes, well, since there is no lowest vote, it's all equal. We'd take our second one and put the second ones out there, which is for you was RFK, for you was Trump, for me was RFK. So now we added 2 more votes onto RFK, and now RFK Jr. gets 3 votes and he wins. So now that's like the middle ground. It's like the middle ground. It's not like the full, because if you just had the current style where it's like favoring 2 parties, 2 candidate system, what is it called?
But where did the ranked choice voting come from?
What do you mean?
Where did it originate? What changed to go to the style we have right now versus what they said we had before? Because I didn't see any difference.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying the ranked choice voting, okay. So what was it before? What it is now to where that you have the 2 candidates?
Yeah.
Okay. So what?
Because let's say I want to vote for RFK.
But
that's just what I do.
But what about the ranked choice voting? Where has it done good?
I mean, it seems to be doing okay in Alaska. I mean, you think that it's anywhere it's present, it's bad?
No, I don't know.
Oh, because I know they did it in Alaska in 2020. I was looking into that, and they still were voting Republican since then. So it's the thing is, you don't get the parties. I've always hated, and I wouldn't vote because I didn't want to register as a Republican. Like I would prefer Republican values, but I don't feel like a Republican personally. I feel like there's all other thoughts I have.
You're more conservative.
I'm conservative on some things, but some other things I'm not so conservative.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't understand what all that was either until now it's in our faces. Republican Party, you know what I mean? Because I grew up in the Reagan era, you know what I mean? The Jimmy Carter, you know what I mean? The Bill Clintons. Jimmy Carter, I think, was president when I was in elementary school, you know what I mean? But I grew up with those, and those were, Clinton, Jimmy Carter were Democrats. We were in war all the time. You know what I mean? And then Republicans, they don't like war. Okay, well, all of it likes war because they all get money on it. You know what I mean? Well, but I don't understand because I didn't consider myself Democrat or Republican until now. I registered as a Republican. You know what I mean? But there's some good things that I don't like about them. Just like when I was a union iron worker, that the Democratic Party was supposed to be for for the unions. Well, the Democratic Party hasn't done shit for any unions, since I've fucking seen in the last, 10 or 15 years. You know what I mean? It's been the unions fighting for the unions. Yeah, they've been, lobbying and doing all that other stuff, but they've been doing it themselves. You know what I mean? The Teamsters Union, the AFL-CIO, they're huge, you know what I mean? Because they have the people together, which I believe in that. Everyone should be given a fair share. But the way it is now, I don't. It's just I don't know. It's just so much different from what I grew up.
Yeah, the way it is now, it seems like the parties just put up the person whoever they want. Those are our only choices, and so that's frustrating for me because I would rather have. I don't want a Kamala Harris. I want a Tulsi Gabbard. I don't want a Trump. I want an RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And so it's like I don't want a dark red person. I don't want a dark blue person. Can we go with like an orange? Can we go with some, can we go somewhere in the middle? And that's why I feel like ranked choice voting will bring, because to me, it sounds like it's a better reflection of everyone's general consensus of our vibe. If we're all choosing our favorite candy bars, only the people who, 50% chose Crunch or 51% chose Crunch and 49% chose Butterfinger. Crunch wins.
But how many people are going to look into it? How many people are actually going to go vote on that? You know what I'm saying? If it goes into effect, how many people are actually going to do the math? You know what I mean? Do the studying, do the checks on it that you did, or that I do when I'm interested in something. I don't check everything out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's like, okay, what is that? You know, what does it have to do with me?
Well, and so I looked into it too, and just on the perspective of like some people, like I'm not very political at all, and like I have such a hard time. I'm like, okay, Jason, what's Democrat? What's Republican? What is that one again? Okay. And then he'll tell me, and then I'm like, okay, I get it now. But I looked into it too, but I didn't get it until you just explained it. Even Jason explained it to me, but I was like, I don't get it. I don't get how it works. And I even watched the video of it, and Jason had me watch it too. And I was like, okay, like I really don't get it. But until you explained it, I still didn't get it.
Oh, nice.
Like, and
into teaching.
Yeah.
Political science.
But yeah.
So how are you feeling about it? If you feel like maybe I screwed up, honestly, the explanation too, and I gave you a false idea of what it is, but what do you think?
No, I mean, it sounds legitimate. The only thing is that the hard part is like, does it end up letting people win that shouldn't be winning? You know what I mean? Like if they end up getting these votes because they all were ranked number 3 and everybody ranked them number 3, not out of, I think that person should be number 3, but in my standpoint, out of, I really don't understand. So this is who I want for number 1. I get what number 2 is, but 3, 4, 5. That's what I would have done. You know what I mean? Like I would have did it in that way. And if everybody all did the same thing, okay, this is number 1 and number 2, and then 3, 4, 5. Now the third person wins because there's so many people that did it in a way not understanding. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to say is like, I didn't understand it until you just explained it the way that you did. So I feel like that is what kind of makes it kind of cruddy for in my aspect.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point too about it's the education of the people. Are they going to understand it? Are they going to? And then you get worried about, are they going to screw up the good thing we got going because these uneducated people don't
are going to go 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, they screwed it all up.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like that's a downplay on people's intelligence, and also the downplay on if to me that argument feels like you put yourself in the position of daddy and everyone else doesn't know as much as me, and just listen to me, I will guide us through what we need to do, rather than letting people have their ability to truly democratically make their own choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard because a lot of people are idiots out there, and a lot of people aren't learning anymore.
I feel like that they should, when they explain it, they should explain it a little bit less than, like, there's so many ways they explain it in a way that is so, like, political. Like, if you're not a political person, you really don't understand it. They should explain it in, like, how you just did. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I feel like is hard. That it makes it hard. They should explain it a little bit better or different, I guess.
I feel like it's a lot of kind of fear mongering in the political world online anyways right now. It's, especially with this Prop 1 thing. I keep getting ads from the Republican nominated people. Hey, I'm this guy's former senator of Idaho. Do not vote Prop 1.
Yeah.
And I get turned off even more by that because, I mean, for me, I'm just so untrustworthy of political party government. I feel like most of them are pretty bought, and they're in this weird system that favors an unhealthy pursuit of power. And all the people who feel like real people that are kind of like normal, that I'm like, I trust your mind, like RFK Jr. I keep saying that. But so because of RFK Jr. supporting Trump, obviously I support Trump. I trust RFK Jr. Oh, and it's thanks to you getting me on the Real Anthony Fauci. That book was fucking crazy. But it made me like realize, like, damn, this guy is spitting over here. He really is like he feels like he's fighting for the people.
Well, did you see Bill Gates just got indicted in the Netherlands for I forget the exact wording on it, but it's over the COVID vaccine for like selling or promoting false propaganda to the people, and so much harm has been done with the studies they've been doing in the Netherlands, Sweden. All these places are coming out. I mean, even here at our universities or whatever, whatever these the Mayo Clinic or whatever the hell they do, but they've been doing the studies on the the impact of the COVID vaccine on certain, things and this and that. But the Netherlands just indicted, and RFK just came out with it too and said, look, Bill Gates was just, why did Bill Gates, he just donated, I want to say 8 million or 80 million to Kamala Harris. But he's never donated to either party ever before. Now, why would you do that if for the fact of RFK is going after Big Pharma? RFK, he's going to, go into that. So he doesn't want to be, I guess, indicted here. You know what I mean? Because here he's protected under that federal law.
That's what I was saying. I'm surprised there's even any consequences. I thought they were immune.
Not the Netherlands didn't fucking sign nothing.
They better be careful.
Yeah, look it up. It's
they're gonna get Clintoned if they're not careful.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but that whole thing, that book is a long one. Honestly, I feel like the bad thing about that book is there's so much information that it's hard to even like. When someone asks, like, what do you mean? Like, what parts of that book are crazy? I'm like, there's so many that it's like, I can't even like grab one. I should sit down and write a bunch of the like facts out from that book because there's such crazy, the real Anthony Fauci book about during the pandemic and just previous stuff that the CDC and all these screwed up pharma experiments have done on the public just to make a lot of money. But, sounds like you're a Kamala. Or you're against Kamala. Or you're voting for Kamala?
He's voting for Kamala.
Dude, I know people who are though. People.
So do I.
You do?
So do I.
That blows my mind a little bit.
There's some Teamster guys on my feed. When I was trying to bring the union to Lamb Weston and I was working with the Teamsters, well, a lot of those guys friended me, and they're still under the stupidity of like, dude, okay, what the fuck you been
filter?
What have you been living through the last fucking 4 years?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Well, they're gonna help us with our contracts. They're not gonna help you with a fucking thing. UPS has one of the strongest contracts in the nation. You know what I mean? And it's through the Teamsters, and these guys they're friends of mine. They're fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? They working out of Boise, and they're even voting for fucking Republicans. You know what I mean? The Teamsters couldn't even fucking. They've always. There's only 2 times in history that they haven't endorsed somebody in the Democratic Party, and this is one of them, because they're so split. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's those hardcore guys that union. Like I was telling you, when I was a union iron worker, I was always told, the Democrats are for you. The Democrats will fight for you. Okay, they didn't fight for anything. We either went out on strike or, we blew cars up or, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? There was you didn't help me get my money. You know what I mean? Yeah, we paid you out of our funds for the lawyers and stuff like that. But the Democratic Party really, they put this through so you can have this, you know what I mean? This law or whatever, so you can have a union, which is cool. But I mean, I think if the people stand together in a facility, that they can get what they want, you know what I mean, to a point. But the Teamsters aren't even freaking endorsing her, which is crazy.
Yeah, I didn't. So at the beginning of this election or campaign, I never would say I was for Trump. I was always for RFK Jr. Because my idea for Trump and for Biden.
But they blackballed RFK. You know what I mean? They straight.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't even let.
He's literally a Democrat.
He was trying to get off Wisconsin or Michigan ballot right now, and they won't let him. They will not. They won't let him pull his name. Yeah, what kind of shit is that?
Which that spoiler effect of the current system we have is the exact one that everyone tries to use as a play for the ranked choice voting. Like, if this specific scenario is given, we could end up with a screwed up choice where it doesn't reflect the people very well, which is the spoiler effect of ranked choice. There's a certain scenario where it's right in the middle, where it screws things up, where you could view it as it didn't really reflect very well because you accidentally got rid of the wrong second place person. But it's in specific scenarios for ranked choice voting. And those specific scenarios are similar to the ones that play out just like in, what was it, Michigan, you said?
Yeah, I think it's Michigan or Wisconsin. It's one of the battleground states. I think Michigan's a battleground state.
Because if we have a big chunk of the pie, so these are all our voters, and half of them want to do Harris, half of them want Trump, but then say Biden is running, and most of the Trump supporters who aren't really wanting Trump, but they're more on the right vibe, want RFK Jr. because he's right-centered vibe. And so they choose to vote for RFK Jr. instead of Trump. And now you have a split on this half and Harris wins.
And
and so that's the spoiler effect that happens with that side. So, I mean, with ranked choice voting, I feel like would be a good one for that scenario, because then you probably end up with RFK Jr. coming to the top.
Coming to the second.
Yeah, coming
getting
to the top.
to the second.
Yeah, but the thing...
That's like that was... What was it? Was it Kanye that put his name on a ballot last time or something?
Yeah, he seemed like he was serious about it too.
You know what I mean? I mean, you go vote for Kanye.
Kanye is so funny now in these hooded interviews he's always doing, just saying the most outrageous things. But the thing about, I was going to say about this election at first was I didn't want Trump to win and I didn't want Biden to win because I felt like both of them were so divisive for America. And I know most people, at least around here, Trump is preferred over the other just because of, I think, of the affiliation with the industrial war complex and affiliation with the pharmaceutical industry.
What I think is crazy is he's probably the only politician in history that didn't go into politics to try to get rich. That I see.
Oh yeah, that's another
that I see. You know what I mean? And that right there,
but he went in to get power.
That, I mean, that's a plus right there. You know what I mean? But he has his own money, spends his own money. They said Kamala is party. I think this morning is what I heard, and that's the same time I heard about Bill Gates donating that money. That Kamala has raised so much more money than the Trump campaign. Well, doesn't that make you wonder? What are these people paying her for? Why do they want her so? She didn't even win the fucking primary. They put her into place. You know what I mean? Why? Because they didn't have anyone else. You know what I mean? Another puppet. Because I mean, Biden's freaking been gone for 3.5 years. You know what I mean? And I mean, you see all the teleprompter shit they do. They can't even speak right. You know what I mean? Let alone anything. But Kamala I was listening to stuff about Kamala, and Candace Owens is absolutely awesome. I started listening to her podcast, and she's digging deep into like the Kamala background, like all the bullshit that they've lied about. They photoshopped. Okay, she said she worked at McDonald's. Okay, they found this picture of this girl, same picture in front of the same curio cabinet. And they photoshopped fucking Kamala's face in it. The video that's out there on the McDonald's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Candace looked it up. She found the girl. Found freaking when the girl died. Blah blah blah. And then you know, she's been finding out all kinds of stuff that, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but she interviewed some people saying that Kamala's mom was like deep in the Berkeley movement and all that stuff. Well, that she was directly involved with some of the MK Ultra experiments. That's how deeper that goes. Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
I mean, you know what MK Ultra, you know, I mean, it's been going around for, you know.
Do you know what MK Ultra is?
Yeah.
Kendra? Oh, you do? Okay.
Okay,
Dude, poor Kendra. Dude.
Jason's my husband. I know everything.
All right, I don't know. He's really updating you every night on where
he
he's
does.
going down. Yeah, because I know you're not you don't get the most excited talking about political subjects. I know, but Jason, that's his specialty. I feel like he's in on the know.
I mean,
yeah, he knows.
But I was wondering how much you.
No, I know.
Just if you're watching like the news right now, I watch the news at home when you get home from the gym, and just to see the bullshit, what CBS has got on or whatever. So they played a whole clip of Kamala, you know, talking about the Nazi rally that Trump had, and you know, this and that. He said he's going to use troops on, you know, to kill Americans on American soil, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Biden administration passed that law through. You know what I mean? They had a congressional hearing. They passed it through. They can use military force on Americans on American soil if there is martial law or if it's considered some type of political, like January 6th, which they kept repeating. Okay, they kept repeating January 6th, like January 6th. They said it like 20 times while they were showing a clip of Kamala. And then when they showed a clip of Trump, they completely blocked out Trump, and they were talking shit about him and just talking about, oh yeah, well, January 6th. Remember that January 6th where everyone died? No, I remember fucking, what was it, Minneapolis, when people were dying, Kyle Rittenhouse, you know what I mean? All that other bullshit, Black Lives Matter, and all three dudes were white that got shot. You know, and what were they? One was a pedophile, the other one was a career criminal, you know what I mean? But they're getting paid by Black Lives Matter. You know, what the fuck were you there for? You know, they let this, you know, Tim Wallace's fucking Minnesota burnt down in that freak show. Boys need tampons in their bathroom. What kind of fucking shit is that?
Yeah, the marketing machine is in the works. They are pushing. Like I feel like they are structuring an image, and they are great at creating a brand.
It's crazy.
And I feel like that's the biggest part, that especially having boys, that turns me off on that. That I'm like, we're just creating a world where our kids are just so soft. Look like that bothers me so much. And that instantly, as soon as you involve the kids and you involve the putting tampons in the boys' bathroom, I'm like, okay, there's my decision right there. Like I've made my decision, and it's solely based on that. And based off the last 4 years.
Have you seen the speech? They were talking, Michelle Obama was making a speech for Kamala about abortion. Okay. And I mean, there's circumstances that you should have abortion, you know, that should be allowed, you know, say incest, rape, you know, on a 12-year-old kid, you know what I mean? That's, you know, do you want to keep that baby? Do you want the incest? You know, there's different scenarios, but she was talking about IVF, okay, in vitro fertilization or whatever. Okay. And everyone was saying, and I didn't believe it, you know, because it was none of my business, whatever. But that Obama had homosexual tendencies, which that's come out.
Oh my gosh, this is the conspiracy of Michelle.
But, you know, and they said freaking Michelle Obama was Michael.
Yeah.
And they have a picture of a dude with him several times that, I mean, if you look at him, either fucking Michelle Obama's twin or that's Michelle Obama in fucking college.
Oh my God.
But you look at it and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
No, you totally say that when you look at it.
Yeah, but you're like, okay, well that she looks just like him, or his looks like her. Okay, and then in the speech that she just gave, she's talking about IVF. Okay, like I had to become a mother.
Oh,
like I had to become a mother, and then you look up IVF, what it's used for. It is fucking one of the main purposes is so transgender people could actually have a baby.
I want to say that's the main. Come on.
No, it's not. It's right there in the description of it.
I know people who have IVF. None of them are trans.
I know, but it says that's what it's used in that scenario also.
Yeah.
So then it makes you think.
Yeah, the patterns, you start connecting the lines and trying to create. But it might be a biased pattern you're trying to fulfill. I feel, I know exactly what you're talking about. The Michelle Michael thing, I've gone down that rabbit hole. And there came to a point where I'm like, what's the benefit of the end of this rabbit hole? Like, oh, she's a guy. You know,
well, if you're in a men's bathroom somewhere and she comes up next to you and she's peeing.
But the thing is, like, I mean, whether she used to be a dude or she's always been a girl, whatever, they're doing their thing. It's a sex thing. Do your sex thing, whatever. You're a happy couple. Just don't implement things. But the reason I get a little cautious now is because I try to think, what if I'm wrong? And because I have been wrong before. It was in high school during it was post 9/11 era, and I was watching YouTube videos where it was making it look like Osama bin Laden was Obama. Have you ever seen? Did you remember that?
No, I never.
You never saw that? There would be YouTube videos that would like show Osama bin Laden's face, and then it would like merge Obama's face over it, and then they would be like Obama, and there's all these like patterns that people made, and I was believing it in high school, like Osama bin Laden's running America, like all these.
Oh my God!
And I would like tell adults, like grown ups, I'd show them, "Do you ever see this video?" And I got older and like realized how kind of ridiculous it was, and I realized how it's so easy for me to get excited about a subject and just try to find patterns that fulfill my predetermined theory and go, look at Obama, Osama, one letter apart. Look at this. They both start with O's. They both were born on the 27th. 2 + 7 is 9, which is the day that Osama bin Laden was born. You know what I mean? Like you start like creating all these networks. And so for me, the Michelle one is like, you know what I mean? Like, is she a dude?
I never even looked into it until, you know, I saw some things and then, okay, and then she made that speech and she's like IVF, like I had to, you know what I mean? How I became a mother. I'm like, okay, and then it's okay. Look up what IVS, you know, and it's used for a purpose, you know what I mean? But it's also used for another purpose too. They found another purpose for it. Oh, we can do this.
Yeah. See, well, the thing also back to what I was saying about how I didn't like Trump before. I didn't like Trump before because he was divisive. I didn't like Biden because he was divisive. I liked RFK Jr. He was kind of in the middle. He was a Democrat with a lot of Republican-like qualities, I'd say, as in terms of freedom, I'd say, free speech, anti-corporation, all these things that I really liked. Against the pharmaceutical complex, which was the biggest thing I really liked. Yeah. And now that things have changed, you think about who's the divisive one. Is it the guy who's a Republican who's being backed by all these Democrats? You know what I mean? That seems like the guy who's unifying more than anything. There's people who are on the opposite side. Tulsi Gabbard, war veteran, who's a Democrat. RFK Jr., Democrat. All these people are going over.
She was not only a Democrat, she was fucking, head of the House or Speaker of the House or something like that.
In Congress? She's a congresswoman?
Yeah, but she was like at the top. She was,
she's legit.
Yeah, she was destined to become the first, female president.
Yeah, speaks well, literally checked all the boxes of a perfect reputation for a woman president. Kicked out. They all go and support Trump. And now I look at Trump and I don't see a divisive character anymore. It's starting to slowly turn into the picture of a unifying character.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing too, is that I feel like I heard a thing, like you have to look at the whole party. Like it's not just Trump. Like you have to look at, okay, who has he selected as his vice president, which is JD Vance. So he could possibly be the president. And then you have to look at, okay, RFK Jr. is backing him. Well, the first thing, I went to social media the other day and I looked up, and his like big job is like to help like get America healthy again. And just like, that's like his big job. And then not only is that his job, but you look at the people that are trying to get America healthy right now. And I mean, just looking from the outside looking in, like they look awful. Like, I mean, what kind of advice are they giving us if they look like that? Like, but you look at him, he is so fit. Like he looks good. He clearly is doing all the right things. Well, like he clearly knows what he's doing.
Who's that health advisor that they have right now? It's a fucking dude.
The really obese one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
like
it's a transgender dude telling you to be healthy that's got it looks like Jabba the Hutt with a wig on.
Bro, you seem just from your wordage, this conversation, you're giving off anti-trans vibes, bro.
No, I don't. You can do what you want to do in the comfort of your own home, But when you're pushing it off on everyone else, I'm supposed to swallow. When I grew up as a kid, I remember my grandpa telling people, "Hey, go get a fucking room. What are you doing?" And they were just kissing. You know?
Oh yeah. I grew up partially in my childhood. I was a Mormon, and I feel like those values got instilled to me of like no PDA. That's like sinner shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's just something you don't do.
But my girl hates that. She's the opposite. She's like, why don't you don't want to kiss me out here? You don't want to kiss me out here.
But now
so I have to break that. And
you got guys dressed up. I mean, the Olympics, for instance. The Olympics opening ceremony was freaking absolutely horrible.
Oh yeah, the France one. Yeah, that was crazy.
I thought that was a shadow over the dude's face, the one that was coming out dancing in the rain, and I literally thought it was a girl with a shadow on her face. No, he had a fucking beard,
bearded woman, all types of things.
I was like, "Are you serious?" But here's my son, my 3-year-old wants to do that. Oh, it's so cute.
See, how come you don't like that?
It's just fed to the kids so much.
It's fed to the kids. It's force
That's
fed.
the biggest thing.
Do you think? I mean, because we're just talking about the way we grew up and how that affects the way we look at the world and the way we want to implement the world today. We could say that was fed to us.
That I was a boy. You're a boy. You have a penis. You're a boy.
No, but the masculine traits associated, and the PDA like approach, and all the things that. What does it mean to you to be a boy? I'm playing devil's advocate here. Yeah. I think we're very aligned in thought processes.
Well, if I'm walking down the street and I see 2 dogs humping, okay, cool. Kids look away, and the kids are laughing. Now, if I'm going down the street, I see fucking 4 or 5 people in the park boning. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. let's go.
Now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem.
Okay, so it's sexualizing human sexualization into kids' lives that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be there.
That is the thing with the LGBTQ thing. I mean, I went to school in Portland, which is one of the most super LGBTQ liberal places in America. Mm-hmm. and we would have the gay pride parades and trans parades and all that, and there would be nothing but dicks and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you been to one of those?
Yeah, they're literally so sexual.
They're so, like, I went to one unknowingly when I was at camp. So they asked us if we wanted to go represent Team USA in this parade, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go. Well, when they handed me my shirt, it was a pride flag shirt, and I was like, oh, is it a pride parade? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I went, and it was no big deal. Like, and literally there was guys dancing on pools in the middle of the parade. There was guys in a champagne glass,
She sent me a
naked,
picture.
purely butt naked. I'm like, what does this have to do with the pride?
Yeah,
what does this have to do with pride? It has nothing to do with
kids
it.
walking around.
Kids, yeah, there was kids everywhere.
Well, it does have something to do with it. It boils down to sexual pride. So you're flaunting your sexuality about, the whole point of it is who you like to have sex with, and you want to have a whole parade about it.
What was messed up
crazy.
is she sent me pictures, okay, and it was a satanic church.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what does that have to do
with pride?
With pride or LGBTQ?
It was a whole group.
They had fucking horns on. They looked like something out of a Little Nicky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The movie with Adam
Well, if there was a Christian church group there, would you be mad?
No.
Why not?
Because Satan loves your kid with a little baby. They're walking.
But if it said Jesus loved your kid, would you be mad?
No.
Why not?
Jason.
What? Come on, no, just explain.
What do you mean?
Why is one a problem? The other one's not a problem. So it's kind of is this giving you, just tell me, sometimes it does something.
Yeah.
Wait, does it work?
Yeah.
Is it working?
Nope.
And more?
Right there, yeah.
Is it working?
Right, yep.
I can't.
Yeah, yes.
There? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
Well,
I feel like the biggest thing, no, not even that. Like, what is all of the things that Satan represents? He represents evil. He represents don't listen to your parents. He represents like everybody.
Your view of your religion.
No, that's what he represents. He represents bad. He represents fire. He represents all these stuff. And now I want my kids to grow up and they're idolizing this guy that is evil, demonic, all of these things that are bad. So I believe, that is bad. Why would I want my kid to say Satan loves your kid? And they're idolizing this thing that represents all the things in life that are evil. Killing. What do you, when you go to hell, what have you done? You killed, you murdered,
breaking the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, exactly.
So I understand, and I agree with you. But the thing is, I'm trying to look at this from the point of view of a country that believes in the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and faith is a subjective matter around the world because it comes down to not evidence. It comes down to faith. What do you believe? And so if you have someone who believes Satan is misunderstood, someone believes that Satan isn't bad, he's not evil, those things are things that the Christians say that is wrong, and I believe something else. Why should your belief trump theirs?
I wouldn't say that it would trump theirs, but I mean, I guess I would just have to know why they believe that Satan isn't bad.
Well,
and then they said something. Well, this book I got says he's not.
But if there was a Christian church in that parade, what do you think would happen?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think would happen?
Yeah. Well, regardless of what would happen, here I want to focus on the actual negative aspects of when you saw them. You felt a negative thing. You don't like that. You don't want them associated with it. So this brings me to my next topic of religion in politics. Religion in all this social connection that we're living amongst each other as a society. And for thousands of years, we've had religion kind of structure our way of how we can all do the right thing and live amongst each other. Now we're reaching this point in our culture here in America, at least, very Roman-like, very Greek fall of the empire-like, where we become so individualized. It's not about how we live together as a society anymore, which religion has created a phenomenal structure for how to cohesively live amongst each other. Even if, let's say, theoretically speaking, some religious texts weren't true and it was misinterpreted or something, it was still beneficial for society to live by this guideline. And now we're in a more individualized society where people don't care about how does this affect me, the community around me. They care more about my own personal journey, my own answers, me. And so they don't think about the communal side of religion. They think about their own personal journeys of what they believe and what life can do for them. The opposite of a JFK speech. What can my country do for me? I don't care what I can do for you. You need to be doing stuff for me. And so that's why it's confusing, because there's a point. It's like having kids. To me, it seems like you want people to have the freedom to be able to choose what they want. But at the same time, without the guidelines, they're just going to run into a chaotic life, a chaos life full of hardships and probably a lot of, I mean, you're not going to be able to get away from the hardships of life, but dang, it sure is easier when you have a
structure,
when you have faith,
yeah,
and you have structure.
Yeah, you have faith and structure. Yeah.
So how do you feel about, I mean, America's clearly getting into chaos. I think everybody in America would probably agree that we're losing structure and going into chaos. And religion seems like a great foundation to keep a country strong, to keep us together, to keep us on the same team. But the problem with America is we don't have the same religion. We all have different religions. And the people who don't even like modern religions, I think I have a girl over here who does witchcraft. She's always painting witch symbols and stuff all over the damn place. But I'm not going to not treat her like a friendly neighbor. So that's at what point, like trying to find that line of, we look at the Pride Parade and we're mad that they have their it's like the enemy of our beliefs.
I wasn't even really mad about it, because I wasn't there.
No, I was mad.
You know what I mean?
I was mad. I was so livid. I wanted to leave so bad. I was so mad.
If I was there, I probably would have said some shit.
I was so mad.
You know what I mean? Livid. But I wasn't there, and I was just like, I was astonished that happens. You know what I mean? Just like you're astonished. I was, in LA during the Rodney King riots. You know what I mean? And you're just fucking amazed at it's like lighting a match. It's instant. Your neighbor's fucking burning that car over there. Fuck yeah, let's go burn another car.
The mob.
Yeah, let's help. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to, like you're saying, the religious part of it. And religion, they've been fighting over it since man was, since they were looking at the stars. You know what I mean? Since the first
battling ideas ever ran into around the campfire.
And they're still doing it. You know what I mean? They're killing each other for what? You know what I mean? And it's, I don't know. Religion, to me, should be something that's like is in your house. It shouldn't be politically driven. To me, you know what I mean? My religious philosophy shouldn't be on a political platform.
Oh my God, dude. Okay. You just inspired the idea. I've kind of clicked a little bit. I think where you're coming from. All religion should be out of it. And all this gender stuff and all this stuff is them unfairly pushing their religion while no one else gets a voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're not going to talk Christianity, get that out of the
That's what I'm saying.
But my ideologies, let's shove it down their throats.
But if I went into a satanic church and started talking about God with them, what would happen?
Imagine they were really nice to you.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, imagine if I wasn't nice to them.
Oh, imagine! I'm sure some liberals in Chicago right now are probably going, imagine we go into a Christian church and we're gay. Yeah. Think about what's going to happen to us. And you're like, they're going to imagine the same horrible scenario.
Exactly.
Saying the Christians are going to be so mean to us. They're going to persecute. The Christians had a crusade. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you just assume one side's going to be the violent, evil side and the other side's not. Everyone's human. So everyone has the tendency for violence and judgment.
Exactly.
So I mean, because you paint the picture as in, like, those are the bad guys. If I went there, they're going to be mean to me. But it could be seen the exact opposite.
But they can go out in front of a Christian church and protest and do all whatever they're doing.
Oh, is that me? No, that's you. It's always you. Busy guy.
But what was I saying? Like,
the protest out of Christian church. They can
go protest, but you don't see as many people going and protesting against them. You know what I mean? Like they were saying, I mean, when did they have that Mississippi burning? Do you remember that movie? Mm-mm. It was during the rights movement. You know what I mean? The civil rights movement. But I mean, they were literally going and burning churches down. You know what I mean? Just because it was a black church.
Well, I mean, the Mormons, they use this argument a lot. Because like I said, I grew up Mormon. And so the stories that really get used as foundation towards why this is true, and the proof of why is the persecution that Mormons had from Christians and other people around who just were like, what are you doing trying to make your own version of a Christian church? That's wrong. They would get tarred and feathered and all this stuff. And there's like, that's like the story that really gets harped down, you know, about Satan's trying to suppress the LDS church by letting all these other Christians get mad at them and say that they're wrong. And Baptists and all this, like I swear Baptists and Mormons are like rivals or something. That's how it's always preached as. But Baptists are a little bit extreme sometimes. Weren't they the ones that were like protesting like soldiers coming home or something during post 9/11?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, well, there's clearly conflict amongst Christians who Mormons believe in Jesus, Catholics believe in Jesus, Protestant Christians believe in Jesus. They all still quarrel. I mean, Muslims, the Quran even acknowledges Jesus.
Yeah.
But see, everyone's still battling. So everyone's still, it's not like it's as dramatic as the Satanists versus the Christians, because even the Christians are fighting other Christians amongst themselves. So the role, this brings me back to the role of politics and religion kind of merging, because for me, it would make the idea of a religiously guided country sounds great in my mind, because it sounds like a structured country, sounds like a good country with good morals. But I think maybe it's an illusion in my mind. So maybe just get rid of all ideologies in what am I even saying? I'd get rid of ideologies. It's just in the school, huh? I feel like that's where everything boils down to. The children.
Yeah.
Because we're all grown. We can all make our own things. So when you're doing public things where you're like showing dicks and all this stuff in front of the children, then you're kind of forcing ideologies and things that you didn't want your kids to be.
And it falls into that pedophilia bullshit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I mean, you just look at it now. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't have social media. There was no, you know what I mean? That you didn't have all this stuff that we have now. You know, like you didn't know that the cartels were bringing in people, but slavery has been around since man's been man. You know what I mean? You know, there's still, you know, villages and, you know, those third world countries that fucking, you know, rape and pillage and, you know, take their fucking slaves. You know what I mean? It's still going on in Africa and, you know, different parts like that we don't even know about. But we didn't have all this stuff showing us this. You know, now it's like, okay, there's 300,000 kids missing from the border. How in the fuck do you misplace 300,000 kids?
Okay, and this is that topic you brought it into my life a few years back that led me down a crazy rabbit hole. Children's blood.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, that's what it is, adrenochrome. You know what I'm talking about.
Disney even knows about it. Monsters Inc., bro.
Dude, that's what that like the whole seeing patterns to fulfill your theory thing. I do. That's always happening to me with that subject. I start thinking about vampires. I start thinking about the lore of vampires, the lore of everything. Dude, I'm like, I start seeing it everywhere. I'm like, wait, is there something to this? Is there something to this? Can you explain what the heck is adrenochrome and what is the theory that you've been exposed to?
The adrenochrome is, from what I have heard or gathered. I mean, I didn't go down like far deep in the hole, but
people should be exposed to this idea so they can do their own research.
But it's when it's like when you get scared and you get that rush of adrenaline that we get, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You go to a haunted house and somebody scares you and your fucking heart jumps, 100 miles an hour. But that I guess in children, that if you scare them or they're in intense pain, that it's like those endorphins, I guess is what the adrenochrome is. And it can be, taken out, and what the rabbit hole is the adrenochrome is like a euphoric kind of drug that they were using at these, crazy ass parties. You know what I mean? That some of the elites were doing. They have the Red Shoe Clan. You know what I mean? Which was what the hell is that guy's name? He moved to Greece.
I never heard of Red Shoe Clan.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, look.
What is that?
They supposedly their shoes were made out of babies.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
What? So their shoes?
Yeah, their shoes, and there's God, what's Tom Hanks? Why would you move to Greece when all this shit came out about you?
It
and
was
become a Greek citizen?
what came out was the secret island.
Yeah.
What was the secret Epstein's Island? The secret
You know
island.
what I mean? But so the adrenochrome it's supposed to keep you young. It goes back to the paganism and stuff like that when people used to bathe in blood. You know what I mean? There was I'm not sure if it was somewhere in the European countries. There was a princess. You know, Count Dracula was real. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah, I saw this thing where Alex Jones was like, the Count Dracula's descendant is the Prince of Wales.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And I looked at it, so it's true.
But there was she was a princess or a queen.
Okay.
And she would go down and every year get a virgin. They'd bring her up. They'd kill her, sacrifice her. Well, she would bathe in her blood. And she believed that this kept her young. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to do. And even the Mayans and the Incas and stuff like that, they thought the heart or the blood would keep you young or give you powers, you know what I mean? So the adrenochrome is something like that, but the adrenochrome is something that's real, but it can only be harvested at that certain point when the kids are freaked out or scared beyond, you know what I mean? Or they're in like...
That's wild. And because you would, honestly, I would think that you would be able to make that in a lab. At this point, right?
Methamphetamine.
Yeah, it keeps you young.
But I mean, I don't know exactly how it's. Yeah. I didn't really get into it because it's kind of fucking trips you out.
Yeah, no, it's really screwed up. Hopefully, it's all wrong.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's wrong because that's a screwed up theory. But it feels something about it feels kind of on though.
Pull up like Google Tom Hanks and the Red Shoe crew. There was like 5 or 6 of these dudes wearing the same exact red shoes, loafers at a like a paparazzi party or whatever, on the red carpet.
Dude, you know what's going to be hard though? This is just the worry I constantly have as we keep moving forward into a more advanced technological world. How are you going to determine what's real? Because you can AI manipulate images, AI manipulate websites, AI, everything. You could just have an entire fantasy played out in front of you and they could lead you down rabbit holes that aren't real. I mean, maybe they already have done that with us. And at that point, I mean, they could just throw you off onto random rabbit holes that aren't real while they have other rabbit holes that are.
Well, everything was a conspiracy theory before. Now we're out of conspiracy theories. You know what I mean?
How are
there's no more to be proven. You know what I mean? Just for instance, God, they like the MK Ultra. Oh, no one would ever do that. They fucking made a movie about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was just a conspiracy theory before. They wouldn't. Our government would do mind control on you. Are you kidding me? Watch the news. Watch the same channel. Have you seen the news where they did all the channels together?
Yeah, and they're all saying the same thing.
And they're all saying the same thing, and it's like, wow, that's...
Yeah, and maybe... See, this is... I also think this because I use ChatGPT a lot for work, and I have it pretty much my full
What
assistant.
is that?
Just a language learning program. You, what do you mean?
I have no idea what that is.
What is it again?
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
Say it again. Say it again.
ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
I've heard people say they use it, but AI. I don't know what it is.
It's a chatbot, kind of. Okay. It's the best chatbot. It's OpenAI's chat where you like literally can do anything. So you tell it to do something, it does it. Write me a script for a movie that is about this.
So we heard about it from Skylar.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, that thing is so useful. You should probably consider incorporating it into your business because it really is. I mean, I don't think either of you like doing administrative stuff or writing contracts or doing anything like that. That thing can do it all for you.
What were we talking about? And our phones were right there. And then all of a sudden...
Oh, I don't know. Subaru or something like that.
We were talking about something, and then my phone comes up. Here's a Subaru ad.
Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example of ChatGPT's power real quick. I'm going to talk to my ChatGPT. Here we go. Create a fun story about Jason trying to remember something he was talking about with Kendra involving a Subaru ad. Involve me, Jason Turner, into the story and my dog Bosco. Make it really funny with great punchlines and pretty short.
One day, Jason was trying to remember a hilarious Subaru ad he saw. He He called up Director J, who was out walking Basco. Man, I swear it was the funniest thing, Jason said. There was this dog driving this Subaru, and Director J chuckled. Are you sure it wasn't Basco in a dream you had? Basco barked in agreement as if to say, I'm a star, baby. No, I'm serious, Jason insisted. The dog drives the car.
Okay, no, here we go. What was that Red Shoe Clan you told me about? What was that Red Shoe Clan?
That's crazy.
I forget what they called them, but it was like a red shoe. This was back in 2000, whenever the Epstein Island first broke.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're talking about some Red Shoe Clan that's affiliated with the Epstein Island, and Tom Hanks had some affiliation with this. Do you know what we're talking about? If so, give us a quick synopsis on this topic.
I think Jerry.
It seems like you're referring to a conspiracy series involving a so-called Red Shoe Clan and linking Tom Hanks to Jeffrey Epstein. These theories are part of a broader set of unsubstantiated claims about high-profile individuals being involved in secret societies or criminal activities, often without credible evidence. While intriguing to some, these narratives are generally considered to be conspiracy theories rather than fact-based accounts.
Oh, okay. You sound like you work for Epstein. Are you bought by the government? Are you manipulating this data right now so we don't know the truth?
Nope, I'm just here to chat and help out. There's no agenda or manipulation.
That's what an agent would say. That's what an agent would say.
Ask it about adrenochrome.
Okay.
You guys are silly.
What is adrenochrome? Is it potentially real? What is adrenochrome? Is it potentially real?
Yeah, it knows everything.
Oh, it doesn't want to talk anymore. Now it doesn't want to talk about the subject no more.
What does that tell you?
No, but
What does that
it's just
tell you?
lagging.
It's just lagging.
No, but ChatGPT legit is so useful. And
It's not lagging.
what was I telling you about ChatGPT for? Oh, so I can structure out, say I want to be a filmmaker who gets onto Netflix with this, and how do I do it? Structure out my route, and it just tells me everything I got to do. Creates a really great plan and stuff. And I was thinking, man, if this is what we have, what do they have? What do the government? What do the big people have? And do they just structure? They could probably have a plan set out by an AI. They probably a quantum computer ran AI that's so beyond what we have. And they can just literally play us like puppets because they're so far ahead of us. And then it makes me wonder if any of this thinking we're doing even matters, or if it's all part of the plan.
Have you listened to Bezmenov?
No, who's that?
Sergey Bezmenov?
Who's that?
YouTube video. Pull up.
Okay. Sergey Bezmenov?
Bezmenov.
Okay. What am I looking up?
He was a propagandist for the Russian government in the 50s, 60s, 70s. He came over. He did a video in the 80s. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. But it tells about the decline of the Western civilization put forth by the Russian demoralization of our government.
This one?
He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB.
What year is this?
He escaped to the West in
1980s.
1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his
Is
life.
that one 12 minutes? Because the
certainly is
whole
one of
thing
the
is like
world's
an hour and a
outstanding
half.
experts.
Go to where he talks about
This one's only 6 minutes.
Okay, yeah, play that one.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter
brainwashing
does
America?
not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption.
You have to
Whether
listen to the
junk
whole
food
thing.
and
It's
get
like an
fat
hour
and
and a
flab,
half.
It doesn't matter anymore.
So what, you want to give me the gist of what is it that the message he gets across?
They were 25 years ahead in the 80s of demoralizing America, about getting the culture to be what it is, the LGBTQ culture, all the different cultures, into Portland University where you went. You have, even at the high schools here, you know what I mean? You have subversion to where you're talking about how socialism is so grand and this and that, you know what I mean? And they've already, and this was in the 80s, man, when I was a kid, that this guy fucking defected to the US and was like, man, this is what's happening. This is what we've done to your culture. And he talks about in that when he was in India, okay, and I guess in India, you know, I didn't even know nothing about it, but they turned to socialism also there. But he brought those guys, Indian, like philanthropists, newsworthy people. They have a whole thing that he worked for, whatever they called it, the propaganda paper, where they would bring people into Russia and show them, oh, this is how socialism is. This is great. Da 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 da. So we'll put our embassy there. You know what I mean? So then we'll help you do this. We'll help you do that. So they fucked over all these countries and turned them into socialists or dictatorships or whatever. You know what I mean? But he has a whole timeline of when they've done it. But they were 25 years ahead in the 80s. What's happening now, that explains everything that's happening now to America. You know what I mean? Our values are gone. Even if it's thrown in your face, here's the proof. But no, I wrote something else over here that's the proof. So do you believe this or do you believe this? Well, Kendra believes this, so I'm going to believe that. You know what I mean? When you have the liberal,
Yeah,
you know
It's
what
like,
I mean?
and they talk about like how they separated everybody.
Yeah,
So it's like now we're separated by politics. Like, are you Democrat? Are you Republican?
And if you
now
don't like
we're
it,
now
if
we're
you don't
separated.
like what I'm doing, you're racist.
Yeah. Now
You're
we're
racist.
separated by racism is such a big thing. Even more, I feel like now than it ever has been. Like, it's been so long since we've overcome that, and now it's back like 100%. And then we're separated by, well, as if you say anything wrong, like you don't agree with the whole tampon thing. Oh, you're homophobic, or you're transphobic, or now we're separated by that. We're separated by all of these different things. And then, the Christian thing. Now we're separated by religion, and we're separated by if you're non-religion, then you need to be in the devil committee or whatever they call it. Or
It all comes to that old phrase, divide and conquer.
yeah, exactly.
That's
then
exactly what he says.
it
in
makes
there.
it makes it to where we're like vulnerable because we're so separated by all these different camps. Like, what if you're not in my camp, then we can't protect each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Keeping
And
people from unifying.
yeah, exactly.
Making them feel like the enemy is each other rather than the real enemy.
I'm building a wall between you and your neighbors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're building a wall between him and his.
And instead of the wall builders getting the heat, they take it and they brainwash us into thinking our neighbor is the problem.
Yeah. And
they're doing us a favor by giving us a wall.
Your neighbor doesn't eat dinner at the same time you do. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, just pick at and just try. That's literally it. They're just trying to spark
it's
animosity.
Listen to this whole thing. It's about an hour and a half, but it's absolutely fucking crazy, and it tells exactly what they've done. And you look at it, and you're like, oh my god. And this is what it's erupted to.
Well, and the biggest thing that we keep like bringing up is that it's being fed into the schools. It's being fed into Disney movies. It's being fed into everything. Like every single thing that you watch now, especially for the kids, like it's fed into that. Why do we have to have that stuff in Disney movies now? Why do we need to remake old Disney movies to make it okay for this group of people that, like, you know what I mean? Like it's fed
everything's
over
tailoring to like the victim mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times have you heard about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've heard about all the stuff that was cut out, like some of the
Book of Enoch.
Yeah, that was cut out. Okay. And the other versions of the Bible that,
Still had it. Ethiopian Bible had the Book of Enoch and everyone dismissed it.
But a lot of that stuff's been thrown out. Now we've got the new King James version. Why would Disney buy the rights to the new King?
What?
Yes, bro.
Oh,
Look it
yeah.
up.
What? No way.
Yeah. So what are they gonna write?
Yeah, they have.
What
they
are
own
they
the
gonna?
rights
What
now
are
to
they
the
gonna
Bible.
fucking write, bro?
I left the King James Version Bible a bit ago.
But
I was like, not a big fan of King James.
no, but so this guy wrote it, but he wasn't around when Jesus was around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how are we gonna go?
That was like 1700s.
Yeah. So okay, I didn't like that part, so let's, that's a stupid part. Here, let's write this other one in. You know what I mean? But how many times has it been rewritten from the original books? Yeah. You know what I mean? And watered down, filtered, whatever, Yeah. That's what, but just a couple months ago, Disney bought the rights to the Bible.
That's wild. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you can do that either.
Buying rights to religious texts. That's possible. Wow. What does that even mean? We're reprinting them all.
Why would Disney?
Why does Disney want a hand in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, King James, he wrote that demonology book. Have you heard of that? He wrote How to Spot Witches.
Yeah, he was writing it in conjunction with the Bible.
Yeah, so he's teaching people how to find and accuse young women of being witches and burn them at stakes while also writing the word of Jesus.
Oh my God.
At the same time. And then it led to the biggest crusade of burning witches ever.
Good
Everyone started
Lord.
hunting witches everywhere. It's pretty wild. Yeah, so I just moved to the like NASB. I've been trying to find other Bibles, but I used to read the Bible with the mind of really trying to nitpick everything. I'm going to debunk. That was like my mindset. Noah got off. Okay, within 600 years, there's the whole entire Egyptian culture and pyramids and all this after the world got destroyed. Where'd all these people come from? I would literally I would draw out every single, he gave birth to this guy who lived for this year. And then this, I would write out the timelines and try to.
I've been watching, I told you I read that book, I think the Giants of America or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, giants, I feel totally they were giants.
Oh yeah. Fucking there's evidence of it.
Yeah.
Not and people think giants, he was 30 foot tall. No, they were 8 to 12 foot tall. You know what I mean?
And the Anunnaki.
That's what they say there are too. You know what I mean?
You know about Anunnaki?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's potentially, do you feel inclined to think that we might be a genetic experiment?
Who knows? I mean, they're doing genetic experiments right now to this day while we're freaking sitting here.
There is a weird missing little gap about what makes us extremely special. And I mean, the Garden of Eden, you could look at as an example of a laboratory where you create things, and now we made this thing. So it'd make you human. All right, guys. But to finish this off, I want to hit on a personal note, okay? Because you can think, you know, are we getting played? Are we not getting played? And you can go down these rabbit holes forever. But I think the things that matter most is how you live your personal life, actually, because everything else kind of gets to a point of just realizing how out of control everything outside is.
Yeah.
So how about the things we can control are inside? So for you, you know, this is actually just a simple question. I used to always ask people about God and what their views on God. And I found a way. I think this question gives me a good view on people's stances in an easy way. What do you think God looks like?
I don't think God has any form.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I mean, he can have any form. He could look like me or you. But as far as walking around in like a daily skin.
But a person, you think it's like a humanoid?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But I know I believe in God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe in a higher power. You know, someone's got to be responsible for all this stuff. You know, it just didn't.
Is it someone?
Someone or some?
It's a one.
It might be more.
So you think a person is in charge of this? A person?
Not in that sense. Not in a person in that sense. You know, I don't know.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's I can't say is it. You know,
You don't think it's a Caucasian man with the beard?
No.
In a cloud?
That is literally the first thing that came to my mind. I'm not gonna lie. But like then when I actually thought about it and I was like, oh, like I mean that's just the way that everybody pictures him. That's just the way that we've been shown and we see that. Like that's just the way like what we've been shown. But I guess I would just like for me personally, I would just picture like a type of spirit, kind of like a spirit type, but that does kind of look like you and I. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess that's what I would picture.
I think there as well. I agree. I feel like there's something to this shape made in the image of God.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be something special.
Yeah.
When I see people, I get like, I think people are so beautiful. I think, man, like when I just see, can you ever look at people and it's like we're kind of weird shaped. Like the way our legs come to this torso. And like, you ever think of humans as like a weird shape? I do sometimes. But I get excited like, dang, that's like the shape of like God. I feel like that's like
I feel like he would make us look like him. You know,
like
like
aliens, everything. There's like something about the humanoid shape where you have a head on top, a torso like this. You can walk bipedal, and you have arms out like this. I feel like this shape, this form that we have, something special to it. And I too like to think that God has some sort of thing. But I was actually thinking the other day. I'm going through this Warped Passages book by Lisa Randall. She's a physicist, and it's about dimensions. And it sparked this idea of dimensions to me that I never had considered. Might have run it by you. Okay, so I was thinking, you know what a tesseract is? It's a fourth dimensional shape. It's the way how we draw a fourth dimension. It's a fourth. So we have a point, one dimensional. There's no going left, right, up, down, nothing. Then we have a line, which is left and right now. Then we have a square, two-dimensional plane. And then we have what we live on, a cube, three-dimensional shape. And then after that, you have a tesseract, which is like cubes that are within the cube, that interval. It's like a donut of cubes. That let me show you a tesseract real quick, actually. Because
is ChatGPT still
listening?
No, trying to figure out what we were talking about.
No, I closed her down. I don't want that agent listening to us. So this is a tesseract. It's the shape of a tesseract. Which is like a cube within a cube that goes within itself. And this is supposed to be our three-dimensional representation of a fourth-dimensional shape. Because if you just keep following this principle of adding extra dimensions, you get to this at the fourth dimension. And that's kind of weird because it's like the cube's on the outside, but it's also on the inside. And it kind of reminds me of infinity, like a ghost. Like for us, if there's beings living on a two-dimensional plane and they only can go left, right, they can never come up from the page, then we can look down at them and we could see them. Look, I could draw a circle right here. These are circle people and they live amongst each other and they only look straight ahead on this paper plane, two-dimensional. They can never look up. They can never look down. But for us, we're in the 3 dimensions. We have up. And so I have the ability to go above them and look down and see that they're a circle. And I can talk to them from above, and they would go, who's talking to me? What the hell? It's coming from within me. I don't even know. Where is this voice coming from? It's not, you know what I mean? And that, I feel like that to me is like a 4th dimensional tesseract being talking to us, where you think you feel a spirit, you have a voice, something, but it's not here in our plane.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in the 4th dimensional plane that can pop in and out. If I decide to stick my finger right here, boop, all those circles are going to go, what the fuck? Where'd that just come from? They would just see random like little blob enter where my finger touches their plane. Boom, they would see it. But they wouldn't see my whole being. They wouldn't know who I was. They would just see the sliver of my finger that is in their plane. And to me, that's kind of like ghosts and spirits in this world. You know, a 4th dimensional being ghost pops up out of nowhere. Whoa, there's a being, boom, UFO up there out of nowhere. Where'd that come from? And maybe that's how things enter into our plane. They're just 4th dimensionally, boop, they pop into our time, our space, wherever they want. And we see it and we get blown away like a 2-dimensional being would be blown away for a 3-dimensional being interacting with it. You following me?
Yeah.
But this is where I started thinking the other day, and I felt like I had a pretty astounding revelation of thinking about these things. What do you think these circles see themselves as if they go and look at a 2-dimensional mirror? They look in the mirror and what do they see?
A circle.
They don't see a circle. They see just a line. They don't get to see themselves from the top. They don't know they're a circle. They would just look and they would just see a line. They would just think they're a line. They would not know that they're a circle, that they're a shape, that they're something. And I think that in itself already, in a 3-dimensional abstract way, is kind of a beautiful thing for us. Maybe we look in the mirror and we just see this 3-dimensional body and we think this is it. This is who we are. But we don't see that we're more than just that line. We're something bigger. There's more to us than just, but we're just trapped in this 3D space that we can't see beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So anyways, let's say I want to give these 2-dimensional people a gift. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to help them understand how to think of the 3rd dimension. They're so trapped in their 2-dimensional ways, going left and right only. They never know what up and down is. Let me give them a little hint at a 3-dimensional shape. So I draw a cube for them in their dimension. Imagine that's a cube. I draw a cube and put it in their dimension. They look at it, and it looks to us, this looks like a cube. It has the leading lines into the distance. It has shading that makes our brain go, that's got space. Obviously, it's on a flat paper. There's not a cube, but we interpret it as a 3-dimensional square.
Yeah.
Are those circles going to be able to look at that cube I drew into their world and process that as a 3rd dimension at all? Or how do you think they will see that? When they look at my drawing of a cube that I drew into their 2D land, what would they see? They would just see a line. You follow? They would literally just see a line.
Yeah.
They wouldn't see it as a drawing of a cube because they wouldn't be able to see it from this perspective. There would just be a circle going around the edges, and they would just see line here, line here, line here, line here, line here, line. They would never see it for the shape it is, or even the hint of a illusion of a shape it is. They would never be able to truly grasp what 3-dimensional objects are. No matter how hard they tried, no matter how many hints I put in their little 2D world, they could try to think, oh, you know what? I'm going to study this shape that was planted here and let me try to get a grasp of what a cube is. And they could sit there and study it, but they would only be reaffirming an illusion in their mind from their own nonsense that they make up from staring at that thing. They would never actually know what a cube is. They would never actually know that they're a circle, and they would never actually know anything about what it means to be 3D. They would be trapped in 2D. And so I just bumped that up a dimension. I feel like that's us.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? We think we have a grasp. What is heaven? What is God? What is the after? What is energy? What is spirit? What is the things beyond this dimension that are beyond time, beyond space? And we think we keep drawing this illusion. We chase for our whole lifetimes to find an answer to this crazy mystery of the beyond.
Have you watched?
And all it is an illusion.
So you know what that reminds me of?
What?
So have you watched Men in Black?
Yeah.
Like the very end when they
marbles?
open up the door and then they're like looking down upon they're like just this tiny little part of this huge,
Look at
huge
these
world.
pictures. Slide over. There should be like 3 or 4 pictures of the sun. Okay, you see the sun. See it on both sides now. Look on the other side.
This?
Yeah, go back. Now go over. Okay, now go over. What the fuck is that?
I would say that someone would argue that's light refraction.
Off of what?
Maybe H2O in the atmosphere.
I don't know.
See, I'm a camera guy, so I see little floaty lights a lot sometimes when I'm pointing my camera.
Why is it so? that was going to the gym, and I was like,
wait. So with your eyes, you were looking like, there's lights here.
No, I saw the sun.
Oh yeah,
but what's it reflecting off of?
Was that in the picture only, or in your you saw the lights reflecting on the sky?
No, we took a picture of the sky. The lights were reflecting off the sun.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's wild.
But
that's rare.
But what was it exactly?
Yeah.
And then I follow that. Have you the fittest flat earther?
No. That is the most wild handle ever.
I know.
Fittest flat earther.
But he's all into the flat earth, which I'm not.
He's really jacked.
I'm not into that. You know what I mean? But he does everything, and he was one of those guys that does like you did the Osama.
Yeah.
He'll take like, here's Will Smith, and then here's, somebody else. And then like, look, it's the same person, just for, but he does the
is he trolling flat earthers?
Just for research.
Yeah. To research purposes only. But some of the stuff is like so cracked out and you're like, oh my God, bro. And then other stuff, like he said, if the earth was flat, he took a picture that was like, I don't know, I think 52 miles away from, he lives in like Chicago or something like that, but he took a picture across the bay. Is straight across. You could see straight across. Now, if we were round, there would be kind of a,
oh my God.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
I have flat earth friends. You?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have flat earth friends. And it's just, they don't account for size.
No.
The earth is actually more smooth than a pool cue ball. Did you know that? With our big mountains, Mount Everest to the lowest sea level, the distance is so small that it's literally, if you held Earth in your hand, if it was the size of a cue ball and you held it, and then you grabbed a pool ball, Earth is more smooth than the pool ball. Isn't that wild? It's because it's so big.
Yeah.
It's huge. And we think, we should see the curvature, but we're the tiniest little speck on this. Yeah. We're a tiny little dust mite on a cue ball thinking we should see curvature. You know what I mean? But it's like you got to walk.
But explain that.
Start walking. Walk the circumference of the... Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Me and Isaiah, we've seen crazy stuff in the sky. So I'm totally about like interdimensional... That's why I'm going down these rabbit holes of interdimensional and trying to understand dimensions.
He was saying that that there's a firmament above us, you know what I mean?
Like we're in a dome, Truman.
Yeah, that's what and then they were showing rockets going up and breaking the firmament, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Did you listen to Terrence Howard's talk on Joe Rogan about the electric fields and his theories on all that? Well, it's all right because he got destroyed by Eric Weinstein after that, who's like the actual mathematician. But it was really exciting, and it got me excited like that. It's like those are exciting ideas, but once you get like an actual professional who knows math or science, they just destroy them. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming. I love you both. And
we love you.
Nice. We got 2 hours in. Super easy. This is just like at the gym. Always going down the rabbit holes. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys will come on again sometime. Come over and hang out whenever. And let's get out of here. All right. Peace out.
Thank you.